thank you all for being my audience today. Also, if you want to, while you're checking in, if you haven't already, I've got a hashtag. We'll learn about that when we do social media stuff. Tamer, one word. So hashtag, time Tamer, one word. One word, yeah. So, if you're on Twitter or Facebook and I say something that you think is that connects with you, hashtag me. So that it helps raise awareness as well. Cool. So over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you a little bit of my story, because that's kind of why we're here, but also some things about stress. Try and raise your awareness around stress. So I started my career in the film industry actually over 20 years ago. I used to host a children's television program in Western Australia, and I moved on from there into the film industry, and as you can imagine, the film industry is really, really stressful. And I did really well in the film industry for quite a while, which is how I came to be in Alice Springs and why I came to stay in Alice Springs as well. And I say to people, as a filmmaker, I'm a brilliant waitress, because like lots of arts industries, there's quiet times and you have to supplement your love. You know what it's like, don't you? With photography is the same. You have to do something else sometimes to supplement your main focus, your main career. And so for me it was waitressing. And I worked in very exclusive private gentlemen's clubs, and I have to say, not the pole swinging clubs every time, so that you understand. It was the sort of place where there was a private membership, and it was high court judges and politicians and lawyers, and they would have, if they were lucky, an hour to come in for lunch. And so I would have, along with the other waitresses, a room full of 200 very, very important men who had an hour or less to have lunch. So you can imagine the customer is definitely always right with that group. And so that was incredibly stressful. And I learnt a lot about that environment in terms of time management and being efficient. And then I moved in, changed my career a little bit and went into marketing. I worked for aged care, I worked for the not-for-profit sector, I did community relations stuff. I did a lot of different roles moving out of the film industry. And when I did some personal development, I realised that what I was truly passionate about was making sense of things, of creating some order out of chaos and making things easy and simple. And so much so, people would always seek me out, didn't matter what career, to help them get organised. They'd say, how did you do that? Can you show me, like with the stuff that you're doing? And I decided to make a career out of that. I was being headhunted for jobs and decided to go out on my own to assist people to be more organised and be more productive. And then when I started doing that, I realised that people were responding so much to my social media and blogs and things when I spoke about stress. And people were coming to me really stressed and wanting to deal with that before they wanted to deal with their productivity and their time management. That was the biggest thing for them. So I started to study stress as well. I started to look at what stress was and how can people deal with it and what things can we do to manage stress. And I discovered about myself, it's a bit like an AA meeting. I'm Barbara and I'm addicted to stress. Because I actually discovered about myself that I feed off stress. I love the adrenaline that stress produces. I love getting up and speaking and the buzz that it gives me. I love challenges. I love putting myself under pressure. But I learnt how dangerous that is as well. We were talking about before about working at that pace all the time and not being able to switch your brain off. So I'm going to share with you some things about stress that you may not have realised. So I've been really transparent with you guys, and I want you to be a little bit transparent with me now, if that's okay. There's not many people around, so we can open up a little bit. Over the last year, she's run away. Over the last year, who's experienced just a little bit of stress? They've had just a little bit? A little bit, yeah? Okay, all right. Well, who's had a moderate amount of stress? Yeah? Okay? Who's had a lot of stress? Yeah, okay. Well, here's an interesting statistic for you. 90% of adult Australians, 90%, feel stress in at least one important area of their lives. So that could be finance, that could be career, that could be personal, that could be relationships, but at least one area of their life they feel stressed. So it's not uncommon to feel stressed. We all have stress, and the reality is we have it. It's how we deal with it, how we manage it, how we use it to our advantage. That's the key. So, a bit of science behind stress. Yale University did a study, which is really fascinating, in 2012, and they looked at 30,000 adults over an 8-year study. They looked at what happened in their life, and they looked at the death records, right? How many of those people actually died over that period of time? And they asked them 2 questions. How much stress have they had in the last year? So like the question that I asked you. And did they believe stress to be harmful to their health? Now here's what's really interesting. There's obviously a lot more data around that research, but those who believed that stress was harmful to their health had a 43% increased risk of dying. That's phenomenal, isn't it? So just the way you think about stress is going to change the way that your body reacts to it. And that's what I really learned about stress. Those who did not believe it had a lower death rate than average. So what I've learned about the study is that we can change the hormone release in our bodies by the way that we think. Now I'll tell you a little story for me that makes this totally evident. How many people in here have had children, have given birth to kids? There's a few? Yeah? Okay. Those of you who haven't, I'm going to give you a little bit of a science lesson around it. My midwife, I had a midwife when I was pregnant. I had a midwife who said to me, she has one-on-one clients, and she said, my clients would get really anxious when I'd go away on holidays. They'd worry that they were going to give birth and I wouldn't be there. And I'd just say to them, you won't go into labour until your body is ready. And your body's not ready unless I'm there, so don't worry about it. And it's true, what would happen is these women would not go into labour until she was there. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then my baby was in distress, and the hospital said, we want to induce you, and I was a bit upset about it. It's okay. And how they induce babies is they put oxytocin on your cervix. Has anyone heard of oxytocin? Yeah. So you also produce it when you have sex. It's also a cuddle and touch hormone, so you produce it when you're in that happy state. Yeah. So that's what they actually put on my cervix to induce the contractions, but it didn't work. I rang Mum. She was in Cooper PD at the time. I said, Mum, they're going to induce me. I'm probably going to have the baby. Head on up. I might have it before you get here. I don't know. So it was hours and hours and hours, and nothing had happened. It totally worn off. It was absorbed. It was long gone. Nothing was happening, and they were going to do it again. And just as I was about to go into the room where they were going to apply it again, my mum walked around the corner. The moment I laid eyes on her, went into contraction. Because my body, the primal part of my body, like when we talk about being a tribe and out in the bush or living the way we were meant to be, my body is saying, you are in a safe environment now, the grandmother's here, it's okay to give birth, let's go. And releasing the oxytocin for me to go into labour. And I really got it then. I really understood how powerful that was. A few years later, my cousin was getting married and her bridesmaid was very heavily pregnant. The night before the wedding, they were having a girls' night. And I said to Mum, I put money on her going into labour. And sure enough, she did. Because they're in a nurturing women's environment. It was a wedding where the oxytocin producing,
Yeah.
So it was just the perfect storm. This woman's primal instinct was, you're in a place surrounded by women in a reproductive
I'm
kind
glad
of...
we're learning this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Something you're not telling us?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because, and they say too that part of getting pregnant is your state of mind. It's about putting the right hormones into your system. So we have the power to be able to manage our stress by the way that we think. It's actually scientifically proven. And so the whole baby story is, for me, is evidence of that. So I'm just going to share with you, there's a guy called Hans Seeley, I think it is, and I think he's a psychologist. And well, it was years ago, like 40s or 50s. He actually defined 4 types of stress, which I'm going to share with you so you better understand what it is and what stress is about. And it's what people follow at the moment in terms of understanding stress. So we've got eustress. Eustress is the stress that you have when you're doing exercise, when you're at the gym, you're putting your body through it. You've got a certain goal, and your body says, okay, I'm going to do what you need to get to that goal, and you feel okay about that stress. It's actually a good stress. You're putting yourself under pressure. Your body will do what it needs to do, so it will shut down the things that you don't need. You don't need to eat, which is why you often don't feel hungry at the time of doing exercise, but when you finish, you feel ravenous because it switches back on. Your reproductive stuff doesn't happen. So a lot of things shut down and things get increased, like adrenaline, your heart rate, oxygen, those kind of things. Then we have distress. So you know what that is? That's the whole fight and flight. They're actually saying now that there's fight, flight, and fright. So we either run, we fight, or we go like that. We just freeze. And what happens with distress is cortisol is produced. Cortisol is the hormone that also triggers adrenaline. So if I need to fight that lion, I need the energy, I need the adrenaline, I need my heart rate to increase, I need lots of oxygen to be happening. I don't need to be making babies, I don't need to eat. Those things will shut down. Yeah. If I need to run from that, I need energy, blood flow to my muscles, I need oxygen in my brain to think. Those are the things that need to be functioning if I'm going to attack that lion. So when we are operating in stress all the time, that is the hormone that is overproducing. We need to counterbalance it with the good hormones like oxytocin. The symptoms of overproduction of cortisol: not being able to get to sleep at night, tight around here, belly fat. So you can see that's, I've got skinny arms, skinny legs, but bigger around here. That's because of cortisol, probably because of cortisol. Sometimes jitters as well, shaky can be things, sweating, increased heart rate, short of breath, holding your breath up here. They are all signs of overproduction of cortisol. Then we've got understress. Do you guys know what understress is? Have you heard of that? Kind of. It is kind of that. Or presenteeism. Has anyone heard of presenteeism? You've heard of that?
I'm acting it.
Yeah. Do you find that stressful?
Yeah.
So what it is when you feel undervalued, unrecognised, underappreciated. I had a job where I had a manager who didn't understand what I was doing, and he didn't understand my job and didn't really talk to me or engage me. And one time she sent me an email message saying, don't take this personally, but we had an open office. Don't take this personally, but can you keep your voice down? I'm trying to concentrate. And then 2 seconds later picked up paper from the photocopier right next to me and smiled at me. It's like, okay, the photocopier is more important than me. And I felt so undervalued in that job and just felt so stressed going to that job every day. I just hated it. Just rocking up to get the pay packet. And that is called understress. It's still stressful being in that environment. And then we have overstress, which is what I've explained to you about me. So go. It's 10 o'clock at night, I need to go to bed, but I'm still going, 11 o'clock doing that blog or whatever. Yeah. Yes. So you're pushing yourself beyond the limit and doing that all the time. That is overstress, so my body is just pumped full of cortisol. So how we counteract that is produce the happy hormones, which are oxytocin, dopamines, endorphins. Have you guys heard of those? Yep. Yeah. Interestingly, dopamines and endorphins, they didn't really know until about the 80s. And that was around the time when drugs like ecstasy became prevalent because they were overproducing. They triggered the overproduction of those hormones in people's system, but it's the exact same hormone. What I was going to do with you guys today, but I'm not going to because of the space, was do some laughter therapy with you, because I was actually going to show you it's really loud. Everyone would go, oh my God, what's going on?
Do we care what they think?
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
It's really loud.
Let's do it.
Do you want to do it? It's really, really loud.
We don't have to do it for long.
Let's
No, we only do it for 5 or 10 minutes.
And who cares? We're all here.
Okay, all right.
We're all
Okay.
embarrassed together.
All right, okay. All right, okay. Good on you. Awesome. So what you need to do, what we're going to do, I'm going to give you a natural high. Okay? You need to stand, you actually need to stand up to do this if you want to do it.
I'm sinking in the ground.
What we're going to do, okay, I'll demonstrate to you first. Okay, we're going to do this for a couple of minutes and see if you want to do it. Let me know if you want to do it. This is what you have to do, all right? You want to think of something funny, and then you have to follow this action. So you put your hands up in the air. Let me do it first. Put your hands up in the air and you go, like that. For a couple of minutes.
Yeah, maybe
You ready? Okay, we'll only do it for a couple of minutes. Alright, you ready guys? Okay, we'll only do it for a couple of minutes. You ready? You ready? Okay. Let's go. It feels high. Really high?
That was awesome.
Hi.
Them laughing.
Just some crazy ladies.
We're okay. We're okay.
You do it for longer.
I couldn't make the noise because I actually was laughing.
That's just you.
Looking at us.
That's really my family.
Yeah.
Hey, Maddie.
How do you feel?
Yeah, do you feel high? Does everyone feel high? Yeah. So I've just pushed the endorphins through your system. And you can actually do that activity in front of the mirror or out in private or whatever if you want to with your kids.
I should have hit the camera and do it in front of my husband, then you can all laugh.
This is just, what I've shown you is just, yeah. You
I
know,
jump in the
yeah.
car and I turn a really big loud song on really loud and I just sing.
Yeah, me
I don't sing
too.
at the top of my voice and that really gets my eye going.
I've just shown you a really simple tool, right, to increase your hormones. So what I do with people is show them tools to be able to manage their stress. That's a really extreme one, but it can be really, really simple.
But you start laughing and yourself laughing, everyone laughing and doing this
Totally.
ridiculous
You're all laughing at me.
laughing anyway.
You're laughing at me. But you just think, oh my God, look at Bob, and then you start laughing. Yeah, it's contagious. It's absolutely
I know it
contagious.
sounds funny. This is really stupid, but one thing I do occasionally, when I'm same sort of thing, you know, like when you need a bit of a pick me up,
Yeah.
I watch laughing compilation videos.
Yeah.
And they're hilarious. They're like people being interviewed by idiots and all sorts of stuff, but like people cracking up in interviews. It's all real stuff. It's not just people sitting around laughing. It's actual funny things where people are cracked up over something.
Yeah.
Then you just can't help but laugh.
I show
go for
when
about
I
2 minutes and then you're like, oh, all right.
when I do this talk, normally I've got a video that I show of stuff that triggers a little bit of laughter, and so I say to people, just think about that video. So guys, just to finish up, if you are interested, they're coming out going, what's going on? What's the joke? If you're interested, I've got an event on the 8th of December that I'm holding in the rooms at the Chamber of Commerce in the upstairs in the mall there. It's from 5:30 to 8:30. I'll go over some of this stuff again. We will do laughter therapy again, but I'll talk a lot more detail about stress, and it's something, something I'm planning on doing regularly. so you can, if you want to, come along to some of the other events. It's $25. I'll post the event on the page, so if any of you
I'll
want to
tag
come.
a whole bunch of people.
That'd
I'm
be
not
awesome.
going to be here, but I know some friends that might be really interested in
That'd be
sharing.
great. That'd be awesome, guys, if you can do that.
Oh no, definitely be.
Do you do weekly things or?
I do coaching one-on-one weekly. Yeah. And you get, obviously you get better results because I can be very specific to the needs of what you can do.
Just sharing this, because my point is there's so much going on, so focusing on the stress of what's going on, I need to find something to relieve it.
Yeah.
Because that you focus on just accumulate, so that's, for example, that laughter, just breaking that pattern of thought.
Yeah.
Something that I certainly
Yeah.
So you do like a coaching package kind of thing for individuals.
That's right, yeah. And so I do, and it's just half an hour on the phone. So you don't have to get dressed up, you don't have to work yourself up, it's just you ring me, we do it for half an hour, it's very structured, and we come up with action steps and strategies and tools. So you apply those tools. If they work, awesome. If they don't, we go, okay, let's try something else. And a bit like a fitness instructor, I keep you accountable. So how did you go? Did you do that? All right, what happened? Why didn't that happen? And because it's half an hour, it's easy and on the phone. So I've got clients that I picked up months ago. I bump into them and they go, oh, they don't even recognise me, but they recognise my voice.
Yeah.